Welcome to the Franchise Woman podcast, where passion and purpose collide, profits are made, and relationships are forged. I'm Rebecca Monet, CEO and Chief Scientist at Zerox Profiles, along with my co-host, community advocate, speaker, author, and entrepreneur, Tracy Kawa. Our special guest today is Sharkey's Cuts for Kids franchisee, Lacy Altenhofen. Lacey is a graduate of Texas Tech University and a sales rep for Zerox agency Total Office Solution. She and her husband, Adam, have been married 7 years and have 2 children, Easton, who's 5, and Harper, who's 3. At the beginning of 2019, Lacey began to put wheels in motion towards a lifelong dream of owning a franchise. She found Sharkey's Cuts for Kids and instantly fell in love. She and her husband jumped in with both feet and opened their first location in Odessa, Texas in November 2019. Their second location in Midland, Texas is currently under pre-construction with a tentative grand opening scheduled for the first quarter of 2022. Sharkey's semi-passive business model allows Lacey to build a business and continue her sales career as well. Lacey's an energetic, positive, and driven woman of faith who gives her all to all 4 of her jobs: wife, mother, business owner, and sales rep. Welcome to the show, Lacey.
Thank you for having me.
We're so delighted that you could carve out some time for us. I'm so excited about this interview.
Me as well.
Wow, Lacey, you wear so many hats. And on top of that, you are one of the youngest female franchise business owners. So if you don't mind, I'd like to start at the beginning and ask you how your upbringing lent itself towards you being a young entrepreneur, or maybe perhaps who influenced you along the way.
Absolutely. I would give credit to both my parents. My mother was an entrepreneur. She had an in-home daycare as we were growing up. So it really kind of allowed her to be with my sister and I and be that stay-at-home mother that she desired to be, and then also influence the lives of the kids that she would keep. We would have, 4 or 5 other kids in our home at all times, and it was truly wonderful. And then my father is a longtime sales rep himself, so he has that competitive, driven spirit that I think that I have as well, and have followed in his path in those ways. So I've married the two of that passion of family and that driven passion of business and sales as I've moved forward in my career.
You've taken the best of both worlds, huh?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So who do you think you're more like? I mean, it's clear that you're a little bit of mom because you really have a priority on family and faith and marriage and all of those things. But you also have this kind of crazy, driven, goal-oriented, competitive side of you. This. Yes. So which do you think you're more of, and where do each parts play in your life?
Absolutely. My dad, I think, is more of my actual personality. So very competitive, very energetic, opinionated at times for sure, and just absolutely driven. But then as I do get older, I see more of my mom coming out of me, which is wonderful. So becoming more compassionate, or trying to at least, and just being a little bit more of a calm force in my crazy world as well. So a little bit more like dad, but try to be like mom as much as possible as well.
You got the best of all worlds there.
Oh, thank you.
Lacey, what were some of your earlier, maybe childhood entrepreneurship tendencies?
Well, I think we were always trying to, my friends and I, some of that group of kids I mentioned that my mom would keep, we would always try to have lemonade stands and sell popsicles and things like that. We did a car wash one time. I think nobody even came. Maybe like our parents' friends or what have you, maybe 1 or 2 of them, but we were always entrepreneurial in spirit. And then my parents kind of instilled that in me at a young age, where I needed to work. I needed to have a purpose and understand the value of a dollar. So, even at 15 plus, I've always been working. I never really felt that that would not be in my memoir. Like, just think that it makes me a better person and a better mother and a better wife. For me in particular, not to say that that's for everyone, but for me, it's been a really wonderful, positive thing.
It sure has. I understand you used to play basketball, but you're little bitty.
Yes.
So has sports also influenced your kind of goal-oriented, competitive, driven nature?
Yes, I think that that's really one of the wonderful things about sports is it allows you to be a part of a team and work toward a common goal, take direction from adults that aren't your parents or your teachers, and really just cultivate that competitive nature in a positive way. So yes, I played basketball, I played volleyball, I ran track. We were always doing something outside. We were a very old school family. So I think that that cultivated my competitive nature in a positive way.
Old school, which means my age, right?
I didn't say that.
Old school values.
The good old days. I think
The
old
good
school
old-
is what I mean is I mean it in a positive way, that old school spirit, the go outside and play and go make your way in life, that old school way of thinking, which I very much love.
Yeah. Earn your way,
Yes.
be responsible, make good decisions, think of others, old school, right?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Do you see a difference as a young business person? Do you see a difference as to others who may not have been raised with those same old school values?
Sometimes I do feel like I'm a minority in that respect. It's so easy to obtain things nowadays, or, you see kiddos that maybe they graduate and maybe they don't understand credit or, finances and things like that. And I think for me, having to make my way in those regards has kind of taught me those very, very important lessons at a young age. So I do see it. I think I have an old soul. And even though I'm one of the youngest entrepreneurs in the Sharkey's family, I don't think that that reflects poorly on my business. I think if anything, it really motivates me and drives me.
Wonderful.
yeah.
Can we do a shout out to Sharkey and Dennis?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Hey, guys.
Yeah. Fascinating. I don't know if at age 30, 33, I would have known there was an entrepreneur inside of me. I don't think that came out too much later. So I think part of your old school upbringing may have also instilled much greater confidence or belief in yourself than I had at that age. Because I certainly didn't, because I had to drive and, that work ethic, but never would have seen myself as an entrepreneur at that young. That didn't come till much, much later. So you're to be commended around that. So you're also a young mom and a wife, and you're wearing a lot of different hats. So tell us a little bit about your family. You have 2 children. You've been married 7 years. Obviously, I'm fascinated how you juggle it all.
I don't know that balance is ever the right word, because it seems like it comes in phases where certain things kind of balance themselves depending on the circumstances at one time. So I don't think there's ever truly balance in my life, but it's a very fulfilled life. My heart is very full. My kids and my husband are really behind every decision that I make. So I'm always very thoughtful and mindful of them and trying to make sure that my goals don't interfere in a negative way with their goals or their life. So yeah, I mean, it's just so fun. Being a mom is the greatest thing ever. It really is. So I'm thankful that I have all these wonderful achievements in the business world at a young age, but really they're my greatest accomplishment. I think that God just gave me that mama heart, and I enjoy spending time with them and creating memories with them just as my parents did. So Easton is 5. He just started kindergarten. He's starting to get into an active part of his life with sports and school and friends and all that. And Harper's 3, and you wouldn't think that she was. She's very advanced for her age and very opinionated, and what I like to call a carbon copy of myself. At that age, both in look and in spirit, she's just me to a T. And then my husband is he's so wonderful. He's very risk adverse. So this was never his dream. But he supported me in it. He saw that I had a desire to move forward and to be an entrepreneur and to create something of my own in that way. And so he's really been a driving force and a supportive husband through it all. And so, yeah. And then he and I, we've been together, I guess, nearly 10 years now, married a little over 7. And he's competitive as well. So he pushes me to be better, both as a mom and a business owner, but I also want to be better as a wife for him too, because he's just wonderful.
That family support is so important. And you were mentioning how Easton and Harper also support you. I would love to hear more about how your 5-year-olds and 3-year-olds support you and your business, and if you involve them at all.
Yeah, they definitely get dragged around from time to time. And I think in the beginning, we never told them like this location belongs to us. We would just go up there and, bring them things or run errands and drag them along. And they didn't really understand why. I still don't think that they fully do, but they love it there, which is a wonderful piece that I get to see because they were the driving force behind it. As a mom, I actually really struggled in town to find a place to get my son's haircut. He was very traumatized early on by his first and second haircuts, and he really didn't recover for over a year. So I just, it was right in the time that I was looking for opportunities and putting together my 5-year plan. And I just thought there has to be other families that are struggling with what I'm struggling with. So I guess they support me in the way that they kind of solidified that as being the right choice for us. And then 2, they're just fun and loving and caring. And so they drive me to do the best that I can do because I want to make sure that I provide the best life for them that I can. They're worth it.
Children can be such an inspiration, right? We want to be a model to our kids, and that sounds like what you're doing. But you're always thinking at the same time, as a mom, am I being a good teacher? Am I being a good model of what God called me to be? So you're building something that will be a legacy for your children, not just business wise, but in your personal life and your personal choices and your business choices you are making. You are modeling what you want your children to be, just like your mom and dad did, whether they were conscious or unconscious. You're very conscious of it. I think that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. If you could go out 20 years from now, and Easton and Harper are off to university or whatever they're doing, they're probably entrepreneurs too, but what do you see for your kids? They're adults now. Who are they?
Yeah. Gosh, you're going to make me cry. I can barely handle the fact that my son just started kindergarten, but I hope that, no, it's okay. I hope that, whatever their passions are and whatever drives them in life, that they just know that myself and my husband are behind them in any way, that we're here to help give them the same support that we feel like they're giving us, even at a young age. In our decision making. I don't know what their passions will be. It's too young to tell. I do think that they're both pretty strong-willed, and I think if they can, we can craft that in a positive way to kind of guide them to be leaders in life and their relationships and faith and all of that. I just want them to be happy and fulfilled and be able to chase their dreams in the way that I have.
That's a beautiful dream. Beautiful dream. I have grown children that are much older than you. And I think that's what we all want for our children, is to raise them in such a way that they know they're loved unconditionally, but we still give them strong guidance and a model and mirror back to them who they are, that they have certain gifts and talents that one day they get to express in ways that right now as children they may not even be able to imagine. So
I agree.
beautiful.
Beautiful.
So I want to talk about faith. Um, Faith is a big part of my life and my business. I'm quite open about it, and I know you are too. Um, how does that all play in with being a mama, being a wife, growing a business, being a rock star salesperson for Xerox? How does your faith play into your life?
Well, it's the base of my beginning. So I think it at the very least gives me a grateful heart for everything that I have. So God is the one that gave me the gifts that I have. And when I pray, I ask him to show me the way in which he wants me to use those gifts. So I think, some of this competitive nature or this entrepreneurial spirit is him showing me how to use the gifts that he's given me. So I'm grateful at the very minimum for the blessings that I've received, the blessings that I will continue to receive, I believe, in this life. And so, the glory goes to him and not me. And that helps me, stay grounded as well, because I don't think that I would have any of this if it wasn't for my faith.
It's really incredible how many of us think of faith in our personal lives. And really, it's a concept that I'm noticing has taken on a lot of attraction in the business world also. Right now, we have a lot of people who feel like God is my CEO. And I know I personally feel that way with my business.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wondering if you can expand upon what you were talking about, when you go to God and ask him about how to use your gifts and your talents. Can you talk a little bit more about that? Because I'm just so fascinated with that subject in and of itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we all kind of know our strengths, or at least when we get to adulthood, we hope to know our strengths, but we might not always know. I'll give you an example. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I started to put together this 5-year plan, and it very quickly turned into a 1-year plan. And I credit that to God, because he said, no, I know you think you're not old enough yet, but here's your path. Let me open this door for you. Just, have faith and believe that this is meant to be. And I did. And the same thing in all of my life and business and my relationship with Adam. I kind of jumped in 2 feet with him as well, and felt that God guided me to him. And, I think that we can have the confidence in ourselves for those gifts, but we might not always know that full path. So I have to have a little faith to follow that path and not knowing the outcome. And that can be a scary thing, especially in these days. Faith over fear is something I have to tell myself every day. And it's not the easiest thing for me to do. I'm a control freak. I want to, know the answer, and that's not reality. And it's not truth. And that's not the foundation of faith. So I have to believe that he has made me to prosper and not to harm me. And I follow that path.
I love how you bring up God's timing also, because in your mind, it was a 5-year plan. And God was like, no, we're putting this in fast forward.
Mm-hmm.
And you were obedient. You're like, okay, I'm going.
Yes.
I'm along for the ride. We're going to do this in a year. And then let's really see what you've got in store after that. That's an amazing story.
Absolutely. And we even had a kind of an aha moment with that as we were getting on board. And I think we had just signed on for our 2 locations with Sharkey. He's such an open guy, and he's very funny. And we were talking, and he said, I almost don't want to tell you this, but I actually received a request out of Odessa for information on franchising, like the day after you signed up. So that was a very eye-opening experience for me. Think, okay, thank you, God, I got it. You're proving to me over and over that these paths are worthwhile, and it's not in me to sit around and wait and make sure.
That was confirmation.
Yes.
Awesome.
Is confirmation. And I think it's important for us as business owners to look for those confirmations, because like you said, business ownership does require not just confidence in ourselves and in the system, but a faith that there's a future in this particular business and that we're doing the right thing for ourselves and for our family. So I love what you said, faith over fear. Fear allows us to step into the gap, knowing that there's going to be steps there when we need them. So you've embraced that theory in your life, so much so that even your husband, who's slightly risk averse, is saying, okay, God confirmed, I'm on board, let's go, right?
Yes.
Right.
Oh, it's such a beautiful, beautiful thing. All right, I want to shift gears a little bit to you as a business woman. What do you find to be the funnest, is that a word? Funnest thing?
Today.
Today we'll make it up, right? Most fun thing for you about being a Sharkey's franchisee?
Well, one of the benefits of being with Sharkey is, in addition to all the wonderful things behind the scenes, is the actual business is a fun business. I told you that my kids drive me in everything that I do. If I could just be in there working the front desk all the time, I've told my staff this many times, I would love it, because seeing those kids coming in with the smiles on their face, first time or not, we've had kiddos say, can I come back tomorrow? I don't want to leave. This is like Disneyland. I had a little girl tell me it was her favorite place.
Aww.
So, that spirit, if you have that mama heart like I do, there's nothing better. There is nothing better than seeing these kiddos enjoying themselves and being in an environment with that kind of energy and innocence it's so refreshing.
Oh, I want to play there too.
Yes. It doesn't hurt that the walls are pink and purple and green. You can't be in a bad mood if you're in the environment.
It's pretty.
It's exciting, which leads me to ask you, what do you feel that you bring to the table that lends to that in excitement in that environment, and the kids leaving there or coming there with a smile and leaving with a smile?
Well, I'm a Gemini. So Gemini, the sign for that is twin. So I think I have a very focus driven side, but I also have that childlike side. I really find a lot of joy just in life. I'm grateful for every day. And so I try to bring that into the business. Every time I come in, I very much so try to be conscious of having a smile. I'm genuinely happy to be there. So I think that kind of translates to my team and to our clients. We're happy to have you because we're happy to be here too. Let's, have a great time. So it's a beautiful thing.
So it's again a combination here of a mama heart and a childlike spirit, right? A childlike playfulness and silliness and fun spirit that you have. So both, who wouldn't want to be in an environment like that? That would be so much fun.
I agree. It is.
All right. I'm just curious, because you are really in a fascinating business working with families and children, getting their haircuts, and sometimes this could be trauma. But you also, the business model also includes other things, not just haircuts. Is that correct?
Yes, it's a very value-based business. So when the kiddos come in, they don't just get a haircut. It's an experience. It truly is. Just to kind of walk you through it, we've got fun cars on one side of the business and then Xbox stations on the other for the older kids. The fun cars are Power Wheels, really up on stands so they can truly play when they're in the business. Each of them having their own monitor. So they're watching their favorite shows, beeping the horn of a fire engine, just having a great time. The older kids are playing Xbox against dad and creating those bonding memories, because the dads a lot of times will come in for their haircut too. And then in the back, we've got our tween lounge. So that's for your older girls and moms who really want a salon pampering experience. But in addition to just the setup of the shop, the little girls get a manicure So it's a polish change. You paint the nails, we spray glitter in their hair, they get butterfly clips, they have a fun ring. And then everybody leaves with balloons, tattoos, suckers. We do fun things, for certain holidays and events as well. So they're leaving with a lot of things when they go, but they're also creating memories when they're there. So it's definitely an experience.
I want to come there. It sounds like it's so much fun. Rebecca wants butterflies and glitter in our hair.
Yes. Yeah. Come on. We'll go together. We'll all sit next to each other.
How fun. It really is about the overall experience. As a grandma, my number one goal with my grandkids is creating memories. And you use the word memories many times. And can you imagine a child having positive memories of going to get a haircut? When my kids were growing up, trust me, these were not positive memories that we had. It was you're pulling that child in. And here we can go to Sharkey's and the kids want to go. They're excited to go. They're building memories with their family. They're leaving, wondering when they can come back. I mean, that is a fun business to be in. It is. All right, I'm going to shift gears because it can't be all, butterflies and rainbows and cupcakes, right? There's got to be a story you can tell us of a odd client or a difficult situation or something you're going, what just happened? What just happened? Do you have any of those stories? And if not, that's okay. But I got to hear the opposite side.
Well, I think just in general, without even pinpointing one story, some of these kids are like my son, right? They've been either traumatized by a previous experience, or maybe they were like me and their mother put tape across their forehead and cut their bangs because that's what we used to get. But not everybody comes in completely enthralled with the environment. Some of them are a little leery, especially our littles. And we do get some kiddos that have, sensory issues, and they just tend to struggle with that. So the stylists do have to deal with, screaming kids, moving kids, all of that sort of thing. But they're very patient. They're very skilled in that arena to be able to handle that. So I can't necessarily pinpoint one particular one, although we have had several clients say this is the very first time that he's actually sat through a cut. I've had a couple of stylists that have had to cut hair sideways because the child was, swimming in the air, trying to get away or what have you. So, it does get better. And I do tell the parents that have kiddos that struggle with that it does get better. They get used to the environment, especially if they're consistent with the stylist. But and it can be a chain reaction too, because if you have one who's very upset, then someone else who maybe just came in the door thinks, well, he's upset, I might need to go ahead and get upset as well. So it does happen, and they're very skilled, and they're wonderful to be able to deal with all types.
Well-trained stylists, because bottom line, kids can have bad days, right? Mm-hmm. And, if you have a special needs child in particular, an autistic child with sensory challenges, to have stylists well-trained how to deal with that. It may look like a challenge initially, but in the right hands of a Sharkey's stylist, that experience can turn around. So love it. Love it.
Lacey, what do you do with your team? Do you have any special techniques or special meetings that you have weekly or daily? How do you lead your team? How do you encourage and motivate and inspire your team?
Yeah. Well, everybody has different motivations in life, right? So it's difficult, especially as our team has grown. We really have grown a lot, to speak individually to each person's motivation. But I found a couple of things that I really think are wonderful. We try to promote the team. Majority of our stylists have been cutting hair for more than 10 years. So I think we have a very good, positive, helpful environment. So that's one. But then I think I'm learning every day. I really am. Even almost 2 years into this first shop, I'm learning how to communicate with them better every single day. I try to always be positive for them, but we do have meetings and we talk about different things that we can work on, our ideas we share. I think we are a pretty open platform. So it's not just me at the top dictating how we act and how we are all the time. Now, Sharkey has laid out some really wonderful guidelines and things that they recommend. And we obviously do those things, but we tweak it to ourselves and our own personalities too. And then I try to interject some of my competitive love into them. So, we recently had a little team competition where they weren't really asking for reviews as much as I wanted them to. And I knew that, everybody was leaving so happy. Why aren't we asking them to leave us a review? They're so happy. So I said, okay, well, we'll do this competition. And at the end of it, we're going to go have a team night. Let's see how many good reviews we can get in this small time. And it really did. It kind of brought them together on one common goal to, okay, how much can we make Lacey pay for us to go bowling or whatever it may be at the end of this, so we can all kind of have a break and enjoy each other outside of work. So I do try to motivate them in that way. I also just try to value them. They're a wonderful asset to our team. They're a wonderful asset to me. I treat them as though they're on my family. I really feel that way about them. And I think that I just try to constantly be encouraging in my words and make sure that my actions follow those words and that they mirror each other, so that they can understand, where I'm coming from in my heart.
When you say treat them as, as part of the team and as part of family, I can't help but think about your earlier days when your mom was watching all of the different children. And, siblings, as it is, have a tendency to fight with each other and compete for their mother's attention. And then there you are with a whole other set of children in your house, and you're embracing them and you're enjoying each other. And I just feel like there's this whole concept of extended family that you've experienced and then portrayed throughout your life, starting with your earlier years.
No, I agree. Absolutely. I think that that's one of the really wonderful opportunities that we have in life. And also as a Christian, is to really just portray who we are and include everyone in the family. So the team knows that. They know that, I value them and I treat them as if they were a part of my extended family. So I think that just makes, we're there to make money, but why can't we have a good time while we're doing it? Why can't we enjoy one another and enjoy what we do?
Yeah, absolutely. And make a difference in the lives of children and their families. This idea of extended family, that it's beyond blood, is so vital to building community, to building trust, to building a sense of we're in this together, whatever this is, right? Life. So the foundation you had with your parents showed you what family could be, right? And that we each had our individual roles within that family, and you got a little bit of both, mom and dad. And then the rest is family, your stylist, your manager, even I'm assuming the parents and the children that come in become part of an extended family.
Yes.
And I think it's something we all long for today, is a sense of community, especially during times like we've had with COVID, where we're, at a distance. So to feel like I can go someplace, kind of like Cheers. Remember that show?
Yeah.
You're probably too young to remember that show.
No, I know Cheers.
Gotta go. Everybody knows your name.
Yep, absolutely.
You're part of the family.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's interesting that you say community, because that really is at the root of this too. I mean, I'm born and raised in Midland, and I really do feel like this is an opportunity for me to bring something up in the community and better my neighbors and my friends and, those that I even haven't met in this community. This is our home. We want to improve it.
Yes. Yes. All right. When what is next for you? You got another location getting ready to open. What's your next big, bodacious Lacey goal?
Gosh, I'm so focused right now on Midland. It's been a long time coming. We've really been trying to actively open this shop for over a year and just been having a little bit of a difficult time finding the right exact location for it. But we've now found that, which is exciting. So I've
Yay.
been very focused on that. I think not that I will take a step back from goals. I don't think that's ever the mantra of my life, but I think that I will take a breath to enjoy what we have accomplished and to kind of move forward and continue to tweak and make it better and make it, the way that we see it before we maybe take on a huge project again. Now, not to say that I won't, it's just in my blood to be busy and to have a lot of things going on. But I think that we'll enjoy what we have for maybe a little bit and just kind of live life and make those memories with the kids that we so enjoy.
Okay, I gotta say, I used to teach a program called Cycle of Success.
Mhm.
I'm so glad you brought this up about just stopping for a moment, appreciating and recognizing how far you come, being grateful for where you are before you step out into the next. And that really is part of a cycle of success. We have to stop and embrace the moment and appreciate and be grateful and acknowledge where we came from, where we are before we go on to that next step. So I'm glad that you articulated that. Those of you that are listening, make that part of your journey as an entrepreneur to occasionally take a breath. Take a breath and say, wow, wowza. And that's what I'm saying to you, Lacey. Wowza.
You are too kind.
Wowza. You're incredible. All right. We need to wrap this up. If you had any advice for a wannabe entrepreneur, what would that be?
Well, I think you have to follow your heart and follow your dreams. It may sound like a cheesy tagline, but it's the truth. You really need to search within yourself and see what your goals are and make it happen. There's nothing that can stop you. I wasn't born into infinite wealth and given, the startup funds to make this happen. My husband and I had a plan. We put it together. We were smart and we saved and we had goals to make it happen. There's nothing that can stop you, not age, not your finances. You just have to really put yourself out there and go for it. We only get one life. We have to live it to its fullest.
Yes, indeed. And then our
Awesome.
final question, right, Tracy, is how does someone learn more about Sharkies? How does someone learn more about you? How do we reach out?
Absolutely. So I'm easy to find. Sharkey's Odessa is our handle. So I'm always reachable by then. I'm on all the social platforms and whatnot as well. But Scott Sharkey, the founder and the creator of this vision that we so enjoy, is very easy to reach. You can reach out to him. He actually reached out to me. I inquired through like a secondary site and he emailed me and I thought, well, how funny, because I was looking at this and now you've reached out to me and we just had an open conversation. He's easy to get in touch with, easy to schedule phone calls with. The franchise has a really nice feel to it. It's gotten very large. There's over 80 that are open currently, but you can still call Scott. And he's the same Scott day one as he is, whatever day we're in, 600. So he's easy to get in touch with for sure. He is on the social platforms as well and able to be reached out through the Sharkey's websites too.
Perfect. Thank you for spending time with us today. We really appreciate it and for sharing your passion and your purpose.
Thank you for having me. It's been wonderful.
So fun. So fun. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today on The Franchise Woman, where passion and purpose collide, profits are made, and relationships are forged. We'll see you next week for another show. Thanks, Lacey.
Thank you.